The tragic discovery of 19-year-old Jay Slater's body in the rugged, perilous terrain of Tenerife has brought with it an overwhelming wave of both sorrow and solidarity. What began as a desperate search for a missing teenager has evolved into a story of heartbreak, but also of humanity, as thousands of strangers across the world have united to support a family whose world has been shattered. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. As the news broke that Jay's body had been found near the same location where his phone last pinged, the GoFundMe page set up to support his loved ones experienced a sudden and powerful resurgence. Donations, messages of sympathy, and words of encouragement began to pour in, pushing the fundraiser's total far beyond what many had initially anticipated. This flurry of generosity is more than just financial aid. It is a collective embrace, a global acknowledgement that while the Slater family's grief cannot be erased, they do not have to endure it alone. The heartbreaking timeline. Jay, a teenager from Lancashire, had traveled to Tenerife with friends for a music festival, full of life and plans for the summer ahead. But what should have been a joyous trip turned into a nightmare when he vanished after reportedly leaving a rural Airbnb to attempt the journey back to his accommodation on foot. For days, his disappearance dominated headlines across the UK and beyond. The mystery of his final movements, combined with the treacherous landscape where he was last seen, kept both his family and the public in agonizing suspense. Rescue teams scoured the mountains, helicopters hovered over gorges, and volunteers combed remote trails in the hope of finding him alive. Yet, as hope ebbed and flowed, it was his mother and close family who bore the brunt of waiting for news that no parent should ever have to hear. When the announcement finally came that Jay's body had been found in a very dangerous area, close to the last trace of his mobile phone, it struck with the weight of inevitability, but also with the cruel finality of truth. GoFundMe, a beacon amid the darkness. Throughout the ordeal, the GoFundMe campaign had served as both a practical and emotional outlet. Initially set up to help cover travel expenses, accommodation, and the logistical nightmare of mounting an overseas search, the page had already drawn thousands of donations. But following the tragic discovery, the tone shifted. What was once about keeping the search alive has become about helping the family through the aftermath, arranging for Jay's repatriation, covering funeral costs, and giving them the means to grieve without financial stress compounding their pain. The donations that have poured in since the announcement are staggering, not just in number, but in sentiment. Many contributors have left heartfelt messages alongside their donations. As a mother, my heart breaks for you. Please know that we are all thinking of you. I didn't know Jay, but I wish I had. He looks like he was such a kind and vibrant soul. Sending love from Glasgow. This could have been any of our children. May you find peace and strength in the love around you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every contribution, whether it's £5 or £500, represents a candle in the darkness, a testament to the way tragedy can draw strangers together in an unspoken pact of empathy. The emotional impact on the Slater family. For Jay's parents, siblings, and friends, the grief is unbearable. His mother, Debbie, who flew to Tenerife almost immediately after learning of his disappearance, has endured days of endless uncertainty, clinging to hope while battling exhaustion and despair. Now, with her worst fears confirmed, she faces the next daunting steps, bringing her son home, honoring his memory, and somehow piecing life back together. Family friends have described her as utterly broken, but also touched by the outpouring of love from around the world. The donations flooding into the GoFundMe have lifted at least one practical burden from her shoulders, allowing her to focus on mourning rather than money. One family friend said, "Debbie is heartbroken, but she is also overwhelmed by how many people care. To see the GoFundMe grow the way it has in the last 24 hours has given her a sense that Jay mattered, not just to us, but to thousands of people who never even met him. A global community of grievers." What makes the surge in donations so powerful is that it has come from far beyond Jay's hometown. The GoFundMe page has attracted support from across the UK, Ireland, the United States, Australia, and even from locals in Tenerife itself. People who have never met the Slater family feel connected to their story. For some, It's the universality of parenthood, the instinctive understanding that what happened to Jay could happen to anyone's child. For others, it's empathy born from shared tragedy, having lost loved ones in sudden or unexplained circumstances themselves. The digital age has given people a way to connect grief across borders. Social media campaigns, hashtags, and shared news stories have amplified Jay's story, ensuring that his life and loss are not confined to a single community, but are instead embraced by a global network of compassion. From fundraiser to legacy. While the immediate purpose of the fundraiser is practical, many are beginning to see it as part of Jay's legacy. The money will undoubtedly help his family through this devastating chapter, but it could also pave the way for longer-lasting tributes. There is already speculation that a portion of the funds might go toward creating a memorial in his honor, perhaps a community project in his hometown, or a donation to charities that support families of missing persons. Though nothing has been officially announced, those close to the family have suggested that Jay's memory will not be allowed to fade quietly. The power and pitfalls of public grief. The surge of GoFundMe donations underscores both the beauty and complexity of public grief in the digital era. On one hand, it reveals the incredible capacity of strangers to rally around those in need, transforming personal tragedy into a collective experience of empathy. On the other, it raises questions about privacy, the pressure of public mourning, and the expectations placed on grieving families who find themselves in the spotlight. For the Slaters, the attention is both comforting and overwhelming. They are not alone, but they are also exposed, their grief dissected in headlines and comment sections. The GoFundMe, however, has largely been a source of solace, a rare space where people's compassion speaks louder than their curiosity. A story that resonates. Jay's story resonates so deeply because it taps into primal fears and universal emotions. The vulnerability of youth, the fragility of life, the unpredictability of fate, these are themes that cut across all boundaries. He was a teenager, full of potential, gone far too soon. His final days, marked by confusion and mystery, highlight how quickly ordinary moments can spiral into extraordinary tragedy. And his family's plight reminds us that behind every headline is a web of human lives forever altered. The GoFundMe page, then, is more than just a fundraiser. It is a living archive of grief and solidarity, where strangers leave digital flowers in the form of bank transfers and heartfelt notes. Looking ahead, the coming weeks will be some of the hardest the Slater family has ever faced. They must bring Jay home, plan his farewell, and learn to navigate a world without him in it. But thanks to the flood of GoFundMe donations, they can do so with fewer logistical burdens. They can focus on healing, surrounded by a safety net of compassion that stretches across continents. In time, perhaps, the funds will also help them create something lasting in Jay's name, a reminder that while his life was cut tragically short, his memory continues to inspire kindness. Conclusion: light amid the loss. The discovery of Jay Slater's body marks the devastating end of a search that gripped thousands. Yet amid the sorrow, the surge of donations to the family's GoFundMe stands as a testament to humanity's ability to unite in the face of tragedy. Each contribution, no matter how small, is a flicker of light in the family's darkest hour. Together, they form a beacon bright enough to guide them through the storm, reminding them, and all of us, that while grief is deeply personal, compassion is universal. In the end, the GoFundMe is not just about money. It is about love, solidarity, and the profound truth that, even in death, Jay Slater has managed to bring people together in a way that transcends distance, difference, and despair. His story is one of heartbreak, yes, but also of humanity at its best. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.